Welcome to the 98th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome, returning viewers. And for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you can join us. Now, on today's episode, Colleen's going to talk all about what she's been on her knitting needles and finished objects, and as usual.
Crochet hook. Sewing machine.
You've been
Many
busy.
things. I've been busy.
And also we're going to talk about craft adventures because we haven't really been traveling, but we're really happy to spend this time with you today. But before we begin to talk about all of that, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So first of all, we're going to talk about what May is wearing, and it is a hack of the Katie shawl. Now the Katie shawl is a two-skein shawl from the Cozy Up Knits ladies, who are lovely, and because I like an I-cord edge, and because I know May likes things small, I just basically did the start of that shawl in a certain yarn, and then just flipped the edges of that triangle back and sewed them together so she can just pull them over.
Great hack. Love the color. And then Colleen just informed me that we had dyed this yarn.
We did.
I'm shocked.
Well, really? Well, if it's purple and blue, it's probably ours. But we did. And honestly, it's hand dyed by us. We used food coloring. That's what we used to dye it. If you ask me about the yarn, I can't tell you because it's been a long time, and it would just be some bare yarn that we had.
We need to do more of this dyeing. I really like this. We haven't done it for, quite a few years.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'd love to do more dyeing.
It looks really nice on you.
Right, thank you.
We could make matching one.
Yeah.
That would be good. Okay, so that's what May is wearing. And I am wearing the Myra cowl, and that's by Knox Mountain Knit Co. And there is a Myra hat as well. Love this. And this yarn is pretty special. It is Adam and Eve, and that's from River City's Yarns. And it's got merino cashmere. Got some cashmere and nylon in it. So I actually went to River City Yarns a few years ago, before COVID obviously, and got this skein and love this. It is so comfy. I'm really liking it. I think this would be a nice thing to wear under a coat because it's not big and bulky, but it would still keep your neck warm.
I've got a quick question for you or whoever.
Yes, my dear.
I was wondering, when you say cashmere, say you were to dye yarn, could you dye cashmere or no?
You absolutely could dye yarn that's got cashmere in it. It's interesting, the different blends of yarns take dye differently, and the different weights of yarns take dye differently.
I see. Now, we'd have to be really good at dyeing before we started dyeing
Exactly.
cashmere. You're not agreeing?
Absolutely. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm sure you can get bare yarn that's got cashmere in it. Maybe for a gift for somebody, I'll have to give that a try.
Oh, no, I would be scared to dye cashmere because...
You know what we did when we first started dyeing, which, I mean, we didn't dye a whole lot, was we used the crock pot. And that is nice because the temperature is warm enough, but not too warm. And so you don't really have to worry so much. We had done some dyeing just in a pot on the stove. It was food coloring, so it was okay to do that. And it went a little interesting, I'll just put it that way.
Okay. So
it almost like we had
you like the crock pot dyeing?
The crock pot went really well, and I think if we were going to try again, that's what I would try. And you know what? When I cleaned up my stash, which of course I did, there's a couple of skeins of yarn that we can do that with.
Okay, that sounds great.
I know, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's what we're wearing, and next we're going to talk about finished objects.
Oh, wait! Big news! We're going to have a giveaway, Colleen. A giveaway. To find all the details about our giveaway, you have to wait until...
Souvenirs.
So make sure you watch us all the way through to Souvenirs. Make sure you subscribe. We really appreciate it when you subscribe. Watch all the way to Souvenirs, and you'll get the details, and hopefully you will win
one of the
we're going to give away. And you don't know what we're going to give away yet.
Oh, I just said it.
Yeah. Okay, and so now we can talk about...
finished objects. My first finished object, I wish had been done for Christmas, but it wasn't. But I'm really, really happy how it turned out. So I did some counted cross stitch. This was a kit that we got at Mary Maxim. It's a dimensions kit. It says learn a craft, and all of the things that you need in there almost are in the kit, and I'll explain what I added. Love this kit.
Now you could talk about this, and you could say that you're just really early and prepared for Christmas. That's all. You're not really late.
Well, that would have been smart. Yeah, I'm not really good at that. Okay. So I finished it. There it is.
Looks great. I love how you finish things.
I'm really happy with that.
Colleen is like really meticulous on how she finishes stuff. Me, I just kind of slap it together. Really, like that's
But your
what I
stuff
do.
always looks really good.
I know, but you are just so like. Look at the back of this thing. Like everything's just meticulously done. See, I would probably slap that on there and just cut around the edges, and you'd probably see all kinds of things.
All right, so we need to talk about this because the back is felt. Got that on Amazon. It didn't come in the kit, and I wanted to finish it off nicely. So this is felt that's got adhesive on the back.
Oh, is it?
Exactly.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah, it is. So you have to be careful where you're pushing on it because if I push really hard, it's going to come in. But I just did the adhesive around the edge, and so it just holds it nicely.
It is beautiful.
I'm
It is
really
well
happy
done.
with that.
Yes.
Thank you so
and
much.
so you should be. It's beautiful. So what are you going to do with this, Colleen? What are you going to do?
I'm going to tuck it away someplace safe.
We can't hide this. You've got to put stuff like this out.
Yes,
This is
but it
another
says
thing.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. You don't want to be putting it up in June or July. That's a good point. Tuck it away until Christmas.
Exactly. I was hoping that it would have been done last Christmas.
Right,
but
but
now
yes.
that it's done, so we'll put it up on the wall.
Yeah, that is really nice. And that that is a thing that I'm going to stop doing is tucking away and putting away and
exactly.
bring out the things that you can bring you joy and bring you
Exactly.
happiness. And a lot of
Maria
people
Kondo, my own. She's May Kondo.
Now, the thing that they talk about in photography is the same thing. You know how you take those beautiful photos that you
Right.
take when you're on vacation
Yeah.
and this and that, and then they put them in a box. It's
Right.
craziness. So go through the photos, bring one that reminds you,
Exactly.
and we're good about doing that. You bring one that reminds you of being in that spot,
Right.
and we blow it up and we put it up,
Exactly.
and
that's
we
good.
enjoy the moment
Absolutely.
rather than stuck in a
Now,
box.
speaking of that, we are supposed to enjoy the following. We took a picture at Christmas, a kind of a family picture, and with my family, we're supposed to make a copy and send it to everybody, and we haven't done that yet.
Oh.
We've got work to do.
We do all these crafts, all these things, and we don't do that. Oh, that's
Exactly.
bad.
So we do have a good picture though, so
Right.
we'll get that done. Now, the other thing that I did is similar. This is another kit. I got this from Love Crafts. It was on sale. But the nice thing about this kind of snowflake ornament is that this would be easy to do again. So they give you the chart for counted cross stitch, and there it is. So it would be easy to do. You could do different colors, maybe give everybody in the family a different thing. The other thing that you can do with something like this is put it on the top of a mason jar. You kind of put some pad, like foam stuffing, and then it raises it up on top.
Wow, that would be a great idea.
Exactly. Now this kit was amazing. It was this little tiny box. It had the hoop, it had the floss, it had the the Ada cloth, and it actually even had the felt.
Not sticky film.
Not sticky felt. No.
No, that's great. Now you
Exactly.
could just put some things on this and hang
Exactly.
on. If you've got a
So-
large enough tree, you can
Exactly. So I'm going to figure out whether for both of them I want to put a bow on, but I haven't got that far
do
yet.
that. Wow, they're great.
Thank you.
Good job. That can
I'm
be
really
something
happy
to do.
with that.
And that that changes it up from the knitting shoulder
Exactly.
shoes.
Exactly. So sometimes we have to take a little rest. That's for sure. I must admit, I really loved the gnome one because, I mean, it took a while for it to start to look like gnomes because that's how it works in counter cross stitch. But then it's like a puzzle that you've done and you put it all together and it looks really good.
That's
So I'm
really
really
nice.
happy with that. And that felt, we did get it on Amazon, is brilliant. If you're going to do any of these and you just need that adhesive around the edge, I just traced
Now,
the
it comes in
circle.
a square, or
I got it in rectangles. So out of that one, I still could make, another
Right.
2 or 3 of these little ones.
nice.
So it's good.
Great
So
finishing.
that's that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, speaking of gnomes, is we just did a tutorial and we put it up last week of how to do a tea towel topper.
Yes.
And so there's the gnome tea towel.
If you haven't checked out that video and you want to do one of those, go ahead and check out that video.
Exactly. Now, what I want to talk about is that, but that is this Suds Crafting Cotton by Estelle. And I
Feels
had
nice.
never used it before, and it is really nice. Now, I had enough to do the towel topper, and then I found this pattern that are called Puffy Clouds Face Scrubbies, and that's by Sarah Gross. And I had enough now I've got them all attached.
I like the clear colored ones too. They're
Yeah.
nice. Does that yarn come in clear colors?
Yeah, I think it comes in plain colors, but I haven't seen it in the natural color.
You know what? We have some friends that sell natural soap. I see there's a picture of a soap in the
Right,
pattern.
yeah.
That sells soap that might be interested in buying some of those to go with their soap.
That's a brilliant idea.
Right.
Now, I crocheted 3 of these. I love them. And I had enough left. Now, I also had this left, and I kept it because it's enough to chain just a string if I wanted to and tie them up, just in case we were thinking we might want to gift them or sell them or those kinds of
So
things.
you would cut it off and then use the string to tie it up.
No. So let's pull this off because I just hooked this in. Let me just undo it.
Because you don't want people cutting that, do you?
No, no.
I see.
So I just had enough yarn. I just
see.
grouped it with that because I needed it to be the same dye look.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, so there's 3 of
packaging
those.
with it,
I'm
yeah.
actually thinking I'd like to give it a try. Before I give one as a gift, I
Right,
want
you
to
want
see.
to take your makeup
Yeah,
off and
yeah,
stuff.
that kind of thing.
And then you rewash them?
Yep, throw them in the wash.
Yeah,
and away you
I
go.
think it would be good for you to test it out and then
Exactly.
you know.
So
Nice.
that's that plan. So that is that. Then I decided to try and make a pom-pom beanie. I'd seen a little. I was actually, where were we walking into? It might have been the market, the Western Fair Market. And there was this cute little girl in front of me that had this hat with these pom-poms on either side. So I found a pattern, and this is by Destiny Meyer. It's the basic pom-pom beanie. There it is. And she has a number of patterns. Now, so this has the small version. It also has the larger version. It's a great pattern. And so I found some. I'll let you hold that up, May.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so cute.
So I had some Bernat Softy Chunky. And so there it is.
Oh, it's cute.
Exactly.
Those pom-poms are great.
Now, I have had the pom-pom maker for a long time. The nice thing is, this Destiny Meyer put in a tutorial in her pattern of how to make those pom-poms.
Great.
And it was very helpful. And so I think we're going to do a tutorial about pom-poms.
Well, that'd be great.
How to attach them, how to make them, and go from there. But it's so cute.
Oh, I love
We just don't have a little person to put that on. But anyway,
We could sell these in our little booth.
I think we could.
Nice.
So that's that. Then I thought, let's get my sewing machine out, partly because I have had to go to physiotherapy because my shoulder was yelling at me. Was overdoing it a little bit. When you have extra time, that's what you do. So what I found was a pattern, and this is by Threads Monthly. So if you go on YouTube and put in Threads Monthly, you'll see how to do this. And there it is with the little bow on top.
Wow.
So the nice thing about this is it uses one of these elastics that you know is going to hold hair nicely. I was watching somebody and they said the only thing that will hold their hair snug enough is one of these.
That's great. That's a great idea.
So you either can use the tie or not use the
you know,
tie.
these are pretty, have more heavy duty than a regular elastic. don't you
Exactly.
think?
So they really are snug, and you
Right.
could just wrap it twice, and there
Wow.
you go.
You did a great job on that.
Thank you.
I
I'm
could
really
see
happy
selling
with that.
those too, like at the
Exactly.
market thing that we're going to.
There you go.
Awesome.
So it's nice to do different things and change
You
things
change
up.
it up
so-
for your
body.
body so you're
Shoulder.
not repetition and getting,
Exactly.
and,
I
you know,
even find the difference in crocheting as opposed to knitting. Now, what I did last night, because I tend to, when I'm wrapping it, this arm is going like this all the time. And I just tucked my elbow against the couch so I wasn't moving my elbow as much, and it was easier.
Oh, okay.
So there's things that you can do, all ergonomic. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Those are my finished objects. And May?
Well, I have been doing a lot of little crafty things, and we'll talk about those when we talk about our craft thing.
Perfect.
But I do want to share that, I don't know if you remember that you did these little baskets a while ago. They're crocheted little baskets.
Yeah.
And what I did was I put little tablecloths, like some material I
You
found
do such an
small.
amazing job. Yeah.
And I just used glue and glued them in your little baskets.
That's
and
right,
so
thank
what
you.
I'm going to do in the craft air section
Right.
is going to try and fill these little baskets with some
Right.
things, and I'll show you how I filled them up when we get
Oh,
there.
that's great.
But thank you for crocheting those. Those turned
You're
out
very
great.
welcome. Now,
Good for miniatures.
you're working on a pet store,
I am. Yes.
and I just had an epiphany.
Okay.
So I thought if I make those baskets a little wider and a little shorter,
Right.
I have some buffalo plaid little squares that I could sew in around for you to put in the bottom of one of those baskets. It could be a cat basket.
A cat basket or a
Basket.
cat bed?
Cat bed. See, I think that's what
Dog bed too?
I mean. Yeah, it could be a dog
Yeah.
bed.
That would be a great idea.
I know. Oh, we work together well.
Yes,
That's
there
for
you
sure.
go. 2 heads are better than one.
That's what they tell me.
Yes. So anyway, I can look forward to showing you what I fill those up with in the craft
Oh,
section.
that's fantastic. So those are our finished objects, and next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is the Linea pullover, and that's by Kristen Drysdale, and it is in the book, The Nordic Knitting Primer. Now, I've shown this before, but I wanted to show you, I've separated for the sleeves, and I've got all the color work done, so I want to show you that. Now, I used a sweater yoke by the Yarn Therapist, which I love, and the gray is Barocco Vintage, which I'm also enjoying. Now, the sweater is not quite this big, I'm just telling you, but this is a nice big bag, and these are called sweat bags, so they're dry, wet bags, and I think these would be great for in the car, because first of all, you don't have to worry about moths getting through, and if your boots are wet, it's by Gleaner, so you can get all different kinds of patterns, Brainiac, there's all kinds of different ones. So there's a big one, there's a smaller one, and I love them to use them as project bags. They're really, really cool. So I just wanted to show you that. That obviously is not my sweater, but I want my sweaters inside. So let's take a look what we've got. So in we go. And grab the sweater, grab the ball that's attached. There we go. So we'll get it to the back. There it is.
Beautiful.
So I am so happy. I mean, we do enjoy our purples. Now this is a little bit bumpy. It's not bad. Like, I'm happy with my color work, but it's going to block out just fine. So, and there we go. Now, the nice thing about doing top-down color work is you get to try it on. You do your color work and you try it on and make sure that it fits. But this color work keeps it from sagging. It's not just like a top-down sweater, like it keeps it from being too saggy. So I'm really happy with that.
Wow, that's beautiful. Now, is this the sweater that's on the cover?
It is the sweater that's on the cover.
Wow, and they just used the one color.
Yeah.
White.
Yes.
Which
and
is nice also.
Exactly, I like that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even mind making this one again.
That's
I'm really,
really
really
nice.
happy with it. And the designer of this pattern, who also wrote the book, it is brilliant. There's so many little tips all the way through.
Nice.
I really, really like it.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be nice when it's all said and done.
All right.
You better put it back in your bag after, I guess.
So no moths will enjoy that. All right. Now, my next work in progress, and there's two, but they're both from the Katie Lou sock pattern. Now, I've had to juggle this a little bit, and I'll explain why. Katie Lou Green is the person that designed it. I am using the yarn that's Mary Maxim Cotton Socks, which is lovely. It's lovely yarn. But it is a little bit, knits up a little looser. So this colorway I think is called Whiny. That sounds funny, but I think it's called Whiny. So it's all these beautiful colors.
It looks like a diluted glass of wine, actually.
There you go. I think hence it's
Yeah.
Whiny. So I was doing this one at a time because it came in a big ball and doing that. And when you're doing a sock one at a time, I don't know if you do that, but you have to jot down how many rows of this and how many of those. So I'm always using my row counter and trying to make sure it's okay.
You know, I think this is the latest colored pair of socks you've ever made.
Probably.
Yeah, but it's just turning out quite nice.
Yeah, I really, really like that.
Nice. Very nice.
So that's the first one. Now the second one I thought, I'm going to do two at a time. So what I had to do, same idea, let me just move these down so we don't lose stitches, is that I just wound off enough so that I had two equal balls of it. I was careful, you can see how careful I was, that the stripes match up.
The perfect match.
So I wasn't sure I could do that, but when the stripes are the yarn's the way it is, like, you're going to know for sure if you're not doing them nicely. So these ones are for my son. The Whiny ones, these are called Earthy, by the way. The Whiny ones are for this son's girlfriend.
They're really nice soft yarn.
It is. It's
beautiful.
cotton. It has, what does it have in it? That obviously has cotton in. 56% cotton, 35% acrylic, and 9% polyamide.
Very nice.
So, I mean, they'll be really nice and take care of everybody's feet, so I'm happy with that. I've got to get those done because I have to send them off to Hong Kong, and it takes a while for things to go. So that's that. Now, my last, before I forget, I have one of these. And this, you can either get them that just have this black tip on the one end, or you can get it where it has a black tip on both ends. So it has a little slit in it. And the idea is that you take your knitting needles and then you just stick those in there, and then you're not going to lose your stitches.
Wow.
And the other thing is, you don't want to poke through your nice gleaner bag or your nice project bag, so it protects them as well. So sometimes I use this, sometimes I use a needle cozy. Either way, we just want to protect the bags.
The one that you've made?
Yes, the needle cozy, yeah, absolutely. So that's that. I just wanted to show you that. Those aren't that bad. I know you can get a set of 3 of them. I think you can get them on Amazon. You probably get them at your local yarn store as well. So that's that. All right, my last finished object, not finished, almost finished, work in progress, is a Christine button cowl. And that's also from Cozy Up Designs. And here we are.
Love it.
I love it too. So I need to put a button here and a button here. And I have been on the hunt for buttons. Now, I've done this before, and May has made buttons, and you will have seen that in the past. And May's buttons are excellent. I really, really like them. But you've got a new way you think you're gonna make them.
Right.
That'll be a little easier for you. So right now, I picked up some buttons at Fabricland, and so I'm gonna put those on. But when we get to Souvenirs, I'm gonna show you something that I found.
Okay, be watching Souvenirs.
Okay, there you go.
These are great. I love
Thank
these.
you.
They look nice. They're stylish.
Same thing. You just slip it over and it's good.
And there's cable and everything in there.
Exactly.
So it's great. Easy knit. These are easy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've never done a cable, this is a good one. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's
nice.
great.
Really nice.
Okay, so those are my works in progress. Oh, I forgot to mention, Charisma yarn is what I'm using. I'm forgetting everything.
You're busy.
Yeah, loops and thread, Charisma yarn. Now the pattern itself, I think, calls for Lion Brand Thick and Quick, something like that. You can get at Michael's, but I had an amount of this yarn, so that's what I used, and so I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Very nice.
Okay, so those are my works in progress. And May, how about you?
Well, work in progress, you know, we talked about these baskets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm filling up these baskets with some things. Well, I got
Perfect.
tired of filling up the basket with those things, so I got distracted and then I with my polymer clay.
Right.
And so I started making. I'm not finished yet. It's a work in progress. It's a little Nike running shoe.
Oh my!
I still have to put lots of little details in there. Finish
Right.
the laces and
I
stuff.
see the
You probably
swoosh.
can't see
She's
that,
got
yeah.
the swoosh.
The little Nike sign on there.
Oh,
but I'm going to try and
very
make
good.
a couple of those and see
Okay.
what it turns out like. I think I kind of a little fed up with this one, but it's
Oh.
my first prototype. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, it's always good to have a prototype.
Yeah, just
because
out of the
then you
blue,
go,
I thought, I don't want to make a running shoe.
oh my goodness, who
There you
knew?
go.
She's always brave. I like that. She helps me be braver as
Well,
well.
with polymer clear, it's easy to be brave because you just kind of squish it up again. Like this doesn't turn out. I just roll it up in a ball and
there,
start all over again. Yeah.
You know what? That's what I like about knitting as opposed to sewing. Because in knitting, if it doesn't work or if it doesn't
Right.
fit, you just take it out. But when you've cut something out, if it doesn't work, you've got it cut out.
That's true.
It's a little
It's
tricky
kind
that
of
way.
with woodworking that way. Once you've cut it,
Yes.
you know, you end up with maybe a project this big and you end up with, so it's like cutting bags.
There you go. So those are our works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our craft adventure.
One of the little craft adventures that I was working on to put in my booth was those things that I was getting tired of that we talked
Oh,
about.
that's right.
But remember you did those little baskets and I was
Yes.
filling them up? Well, I'm filling them up with all kinds of breads.
This is
That
brilliant.
I'm making with polymer clay. And that's what I've been up to lately because it's very time consuming and it's tedious.
Exactly.
And so I've been...
I like the little wine bottles too.
Yes, filling those in and then... put the
Those
wine bottle
baskets
in
are
there.
brilliant.
Yes, these are cute. Now these ones I paid for like 50 cents.
Right.
But my thing is to bake some bread to fill into your baskets
Oh, okay,
too.
perfect.
So now these are some of the things that I've put in our booth that we're going to have.
Okay.
And so we'll just go over there and talk a little bit about what we've done for our booth and how we're going to set that up a little bit.
Sounds great. For our craft adventure, we're going to take a look at what May has constructed for us. So we've talked about having a craft booth and doing craft fairs. We're not sure when that's going to happen, but we went to the Western Fair Market, which I think we're going to do and provide a video for you in another episode. So we did that and we kind of got inspired. So we thought, well, we could do a booth. And so on one side, we've got some miniatures going on, and on the other side, we're going to have some knitting going on. So that's the plan. Let's talk first of all about miniatures on this side. May has set this up beautifully. So she has some luggage that she sells, and she's done a great job making all the pieces. She's got a garment bag, she's got the whole thing. She's got some vegetable cart. She's got some rooms set up. I like how she does that. There's a little embroidery in the back that I helped out with, and a little bit of knitting on the back of the couch. But May made the couch and the lamp and the fireplace. She's made it all. Brilliant, that lady is. So I'm really, really liking that. Then she made up another one, and look at, she's got the tea set sitting there, another fireplace. So that looks good. And then at the very bottom, she's got a few pieces of furniture and some beds with some bedding. I helped with that, and a little bit of crochet work at the end. She's got some baskets. Now, May was brilliant. So she found these little boxes at the dollar store, and that's going to allow her to put some of the food that she makes with the Fimo polymer clay in there so that it doesn't get lost and it doesn't get juggled. So that's the idea with that. Now we've got this body over here, and that is one of those Christine button cowls. There's the buttons that May made. She did a great job, and I sewed those on. So this is Charisma Tweed. Similar yarn to the other one, but that's that. So we have this dress form, which is not an official dress form, but that's going to allow us to put some knitted objects on. Now over here, you'll see that we've got this, May found that at the Goodwill. And what I found is that those Christmas balls that I make sit really nicely on that. So the other thing you could do is put a car seat blanket over top, something like that. So that's going to hold some things. And then every time she puts a crate, there is the top of the crate and then inside the crate. So we're going to do some of the baby items. We're going to do that as well. Same thing over here. We're going to have some more room for some more knitting, maybe some more sewing, scrunchies, that kind of thing. And then over here we have just, it's kind of just that part. You can either show jewelry. This is another cowl that I did, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that when I talk about souvenirs. But this is the idea for the setup. And the nice thing about doing this, May has found, is that once you do this, you start to see, okay, what could I make that will fit in there? And so that's the idea. What can I make that will fit in there? May's got her side all done. I'm in a bit of trouble. I've got some work to do. So that's our booth craft adventure, and next we're going to talk about souvenirs. Before we talk about our souvenirs, we want to talk about our giveaway. So the idea, we mentioned it in our last podcast, the idea is we're going to give away some patterns in Ravelry. So today is the 20th of January, and what we're going to give you is 2 weeks. So on the 3rd of February, we will do random number generator, and we will select 3 people, and we will give you a pattern in Ravelry, anything about $10 Canadian. So I was looking, you can get a pattern for $7, $7.50 US, and you're still under that $10 mark. The way we want you to enter is to comment below. Either comment on something that you're interested in knitting, like I've never made a pair of socks, I would like to have a sock pattern. I really like that Anguli cowl that Colleen knits for May all the time. Maybe that would be something. You just have to look at patterns and prices on Ravelry. And so,
or just say Ravelry.
yes.
You could just put in your name. If you don't like to comment, just put in Ravelry and
Right.
a thumbs up. And
Right.
and
But do
then-
subscribe, because we're looking just at subscribers. And then what's going to happen is you get till midnight of February 2nd. And then February 3rd, first thing in the morning, we're going to do random number generator. We're going to select it. And then we will be able to do that for 3 of our lovely subscribers. We're going to do that.
Very good.
So it's nice to have a February, because sometimes February can be blue. It's going to end up being a February giveaway, but we have to enter in the 2 weeks before that.
Okay.
All right.
Good
So
details.
perfect. So that's that piece. We'll do a little reminding at the end. Now let's talk about souvenirs. we have been in a number of different places, May, and seen a number of different things. So I'm going to talk about my first souvenir, pros, cons, and we'll see. Now, the first thing, it's a little crinkly, I apologize. We were at Lens Mills in London, and we found this kit. It's $6.99. It says make in a weekend, easy to follow instructions. The designer is Karen Woolley. Makes one fun for all skill levels. I have a little bit of a thing about that. I'm not sure all skill levels. This is not really a beginning knitter pattern. I don't think so. But obviously if you've got somebody who could be there to help you. Now let's talk about the pros. The pattern is a great pattern, but you have to know how to knit two together, purl two together, slip one as if to knit, knit one, pass over, slip one as if to knit, knit two together, pass over, and yarn overs. That's a lot to remember.
I don't think I could do any of that.
Exactly.
If you're not used to reading a pattern, like I wouldn't have, I can knit, plain and purl, but I could never fold this.
So there's good pictures, which is great. Now the yarn, it's kind of beginning yarn. It's okay.
You gotta look at the price of this thing.
Exactly.
It feels kind of, ugh. It doesn't feel very nice, this yarn.
No, well, I've got cashmere around my neck, so no, it's not. If somebody was just going to learn how to knit and not make this cowl, this would be great. I'm not sure I'd want that around my neck.
Oh.
You can get lovely acrylic that isn't expensive. So you might say, well, part of this kit's good. I'm going to get this. I'm going to have my, let's say you're doing this for a granddaughter. I'm going to let her knit with this for a little while, and then we're going to buy her something special to make the cowl.
Right.
That might be an idea. Now, it comes with knitting needles. Plasticky, which I thought maybe I should just try and use. And then I used them for a little bit and thought, no, I like my knitting needles better. Do I seem a little uppity? I don't mean to, but I mean,
You are.
maybe I am.
When it comes to knitting needles.
Knitting needles,
yeah.
that's right. So those plastic ones, once again, if you had somebody who
Beginner, maybe.
that might be a
But
good idea.
Let me just ask you something. Is it good as a beginner to maybe practice with good knitting needles as opposed to this? Or
If you're not sure they're going to continue on, those would be just fine.
Okay.
I thought I'm going to do exactly what the kit says. I thought I'll use that yarn and those needles.
Right.
And then I thought, it's not happening in my life. I'll explain what I'm going to do. It also came with the plastic darning needle. Absolutely, I would use that. There's no doubt. So it is a great kit. Is it a beginner kit? Not so sure. It might be good to use this for practice, but I'm just going to show you something that I did. So I'll be right back.
Now, I want to talk about this because the price range of this kit is like $6.99. So really for what you get, yarn, needles, darning thing, pattern, picture,
Right.
but for $6.99, what do you expect?
That's true.
What do you expect?
It is what I think I had issues with, not horrible issues, but is that, yes, it's great if it's a beginner pattern, but I'm not sure if this is a beginner
Right,
pattern.
right.
I mean, so what I did was I thought I'm going to use some of that charisma, and I'm going to use chunkier yarn, and I'm going to make one.
And it turned out great.
I thought that would be great gifts for Christmas if I
Those
start
are
now.
really nice.
Yeah, I'm really nice. And you can just fold it over kind of like what I've done now, and it'll work
It kind
great.
of looks like what's in there.
Exactly,
A little bit of
exactly.
yarn. Yeah, that's
and I
nice.
think part of it, it's so interesting what affects you. I think part of it is I look at the gray that's there, and I look at this gray, and it doesn't look the same. Like this is really bright. It's a
Right.
bright gray. This is really dull. Like I can't even imagine putting that
Right.
around my neck. So there's lots of
So
things.
beware when you're buying things for your grandkids or starter kits. And I
Right.
think, and maybe that's something we could sell in our booth if we're going to have a booth, is
Right.
To maybe a starter kit that would be an actual starter kit with some decent yarn and some
Right,
decent needles.
right.
stuff.
And there are other things that they can knit. I think lots of times it is, people say, oh, just knit a scarf, it's just back and forth. But a scarf takes a long time. So we had talked about previously, like make like a little washcloth. It's great. And, we did 3 different ways. You can knit every row, you can purl every row. They end up looking the same, but you practice both.
Right.
And then we did one where you do increases and decreases. And so those things look really, really nice. And there's all kinds of dishcloth patterns.
Right, and nice yarns for that.
Exactly, absolutely. So that's my first souvenir. Pros and cons, but as I said, to be honest with you, the stitch is beautiful. I really like how it came across. I was debating whether or not to do it in a circle and do that, which may happen, because I like how it's open and cushy when you do a larger, thicker yarn. I did like that. All right, now, my next souvenir we got from the Galt House of Yarns. And that's because I was looking for the suds, which is what I did those puff things out of, the face scrubbers, and I was looking for other colors. And I found that the Galt House of Yarn, which is in Cambridge, they had bigger balls of it and different colors. So I'm just going to show you the colors that I chose. So love the bag. So you can see there's no label, so I did that. So that color is Frost.
That's nice.
It kind of looks a little bit like what you're wearing. So I made some of those scrubbies out of that. And then I do have gray, which you've already seen. Gray heather is what it's called. And then this one I really like, and it's called grapefruit. Grapefruit. So I figured, did I say I could make 16 of them? Can't remember. I can make a lot of these out of there. So I'm just going to try and do 2 or 3 a day. These will be great Christmas presents, or if we decide to have a booth, we're going to be able to sell those scrubbies. So I like them. As I said, I'm going to give them a try on my face and see what happens.
Nice.
So let's load up the bag. So that's that. Now, my last souvenir comes from Laura Nelken. And I'm sorry for the noise. So I am part of Lola's Choice, and you have seen some of the things that usually involve some beads. Sometimes it's socks, sometimes it's jewelry, sometimes it's mittens. So it's every other month. Now May is lovely, and we haven't decided whether it's for my birthday or Christmas. For one of those, she says that's what we'll give you for, and it's nice because it's a gift that keeps going through the whole year. So I'm really happy. The thing you have to understand if you're in Canada is that when it goes out in the States, people there get it sooner than you, and that's okay. So if you go on to Laura Nelken's group, then you can see what's in it before, which I don't mind. And she usually gives you lots of time if there's going to be a knit along, those kind of things. This was quite a package.
I like the packaging.
She always has beautiful things. So let me show you how this comes. So it always comes with a pattern code. So this is Laxo socks. And there's a code on the back, so on Ravelry you get that. Now this one actually, there's 2 patterns and you got both. If you were going to buy these, it would have been $20 US.
We'll have to buy the pattern?
Yeah, $10 each. So there's the socks, which I'm looking forward to doing. And then there's a bracelet. So there's going to be enough yarn to make a bracelet. And I've got small feet, so I might be able to do a couple. These are toe-up socks. I'm quite looking forward to doing that. Now, the yarn, sometimes she has 4 or 5 different colors. This is just one. It comes in a cone. So there it is. I'll get that. It's called Watercolor Sock, 2 identical socks. So somehow we're going to be able to get 2 identical socks. So we'll have to figure out how that works. Excuse me, because I dropped something.
Very fine yarn.
It is fine. It must be a lovely soft yarn. Now, the other thing that you get is the things that you need. So this is called a threader floss. So that helps you put beads on if you're going to do the bracelet. She gives you the beads, and there's beads with a fastener, which is great. And then there's usually a treat. So sometimes it's candy, and this is matcha. So you can either do it as a cold brew or as a hot brew, and it tells you what you can do. It says you can put it in milk or juice. Juice might be what I do. So I'm going to give that a try. She says it's her favorite drink. I've never done matcha. I've seen them do it at Starbucks, but I've never done it. So all of that comes in this bag. Quite amazing. Now that arrived Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, very happy with that. Now the last thing has to do with going to Goodwill. So May was going to Goodwill's, and it actually was my mom who had the idea. She said, because I was talking about buttons, it's hard to get buttons. And she said, just buy something at the Goodwill with buttons. Now my mom was thinking Goodwill was not that expensive.
Right.
So sometimes it is. So I'm just going to show you. So these are buttons.
It was actually a great idea.
It was a great idea. I really liked it.
Because buttons, if you've been out looking for buttons recently, they're not that cheap.
I remember we were at when we were at Len's Mills, and there were 2 wooden buttons, and they were $8 for the 2.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for buttons. That adds a lot of money into your article. That you're
Exactly, if you're going to try and sell it. So I did go to Fabricland, and I found these. So these are $1.50 each. So if you're going to do that cowl, you need 2 of those. So
They're nice buttons though.
I really do like those buttons. There's nothing wrong with those
Right.
buttons at all. So we had a little bit of an adventure, and we went to the Goodwill. And so I was looking at coats, and I came across this coat, which was a lovely dark brown coat. And I counted up the buttons, and I think I got up to 11 or 12. And I thought, I was trying to figure out the money, because the coat was $10.49. And so I thought, okay, even with 10 buttons, if I've got 10 buttons, it's just $1 a button. It's cheaper. But there were buttons everywhere. There was buttons on the inside. There were 3 buttons at the back. There was an extra button at the top. So I ended up with 16 buttons.
On the one item.
On the one item. So I've taken them off. I've given it a wash. They're beautiful. And it ends up, they're like 66 cents a button.
And how many of these did you get?
16. So I don't know how there got to be 16
So it ends up
buttons.
being out 60 cents, you said?
66 cents a
button.
button.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Yeah, those
and
are-
I really
those
like
are
them.
nice.
They're the right color. They're kind of that dark
Right,
brown.
I mean, there's...
Not much different.
No.
They're a little bit smaller, but that's good.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Me
So that'll
too.
be-
So that was a find. So thanks, Mama, for the idea. And thank you, Goodwill. She helped me out a lot.
And that's a
so.
great tip for you if you're looking for buttons. Go to
Exactly.
your Goodwill and look for an article that might be a couple of dollars, and you'll get
Exactly.
lots of buttons.
Yep, exactly. So
Yeah, great
those
tip.
are my souvenirs. And May, now you, because you had a good time.
Yeah, well, we were at the Goodwill because Colleen and I were talking about putting that booth together.
Right.
And I was thinking of things that we could use for displays, especially for Colleen's those little hats.
Sorry. I'm going to leave the buttons alone. Sometimes you just have to leave them alone, even if they're all over the floor.
We can get those. The cleaning lady will get those. We don't really have a cleaning lady.
No,
I'm just
no, no.
making that up.
Okay.
Not that I wouldn't mind having a cleaning lady. Trust me. And only really for the bathrooms. I just
I
hate
know,
cleaning the
I know.
bathrooms. But anyway, I have
Alright.
to do the bathroom. But
No buttons. Leave my hands alone.
Okay, so where was I? I was talking
Goodwill.
about Goodwill, and I was talking about things for display for our booth that we were gonna have. It's not really a booth; it's a table. And you know how when you go to craft shows, you get a table.
Right.
And so I thought it would be nice for Colleen and I to share a table and to see how we could set that up and what kinds of things that we could sell on that table. And so I'm trying to look at display items. And so one of the things I came up with that I had seen is if you get paper towel holders at the Goodwill.
Wow. Okay.
This would work for a couple of dollars. And then these at the dollar store.
Right.
And then somehow gonna put a skewer or hole in there, and somehow I'm going to make, well, we can make that maybe a little bit bigger
with some yarn.
Some yarn or something, and make that a little bit bigger. And then that'd be
Why
a
not?
great display item for
I think
our
that's
booth.
fantastic.
So, you know, those are reasonably priced.
Exactly.
Pick up a couple of those and I'll fix those up.
Styrofoam balls were at the dollar store.
Dollar store, yep. And also I picked up, this little thing was $1, and it's got 2 wiry things in here, so you can put a price tag.
Oh, like a little sign.
Yeah, a little sign
Oh,
to say what the
brilliant.
article is, or a
Oh, I
price
like
tag.
that.
So.
She comes home with all kinds of cool things.
And I've got some other things that I bought there that I just don't have room for right
Right.
There's some shelving that we can use for
Right.
that. But there are some ideas for a booth, and I'm going to do a video on how to set up a booth, because you do need some layers and you need some height, things that will make it look
Exactly.
presentable and what you need to do for
right.
that.
That makes sense.
Also, I've been busy going on auctions because, as you know, I have a little shelf over at the antique store, and I go into auctions. I did pay a little bit too much for these items, I think. I'm not sure. Because I get carried away in an auction, like, you know, they're online and you keep bidding.
I
get a
only
little
$5 more
competitive.
dollars. That's right.
Get a little competitive, but, you know, at the end up, I like the product, so that's
Right.
okay. So I bought some Disney products.
These are so nice.
And they've got the authenticity cards. It came with a pin.
Oh wow.
This one, there's little, what's it called, this guy again?
Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket. How cute is that?
Oh, it's
Now
so
he
cute.
retails probably for about $80.
Oh, my
I don't know
goodness.
if I would get $80 for him, but
He's very
we'll
cute
see.
though.
I'm gonna sell him for $45
There you
to
go.
see if I can get my money back.
Wow.
That would be nice if I got my money back.
These boxes, like, I mean, the whole package is beautiful. Look at that.
They're also Royal Dalton, which is really cool.
Amazing.
And now I'll show you another one. I also got Tinkerbell. I got Timon, you know, from Timon.
Hakuna Matata.
Da da da, what a wonderful thing. And Tinkerbell, and I got a really nice 9-inch Blue Fairy from Pinocchio.
Oh wow.
Now she's worth about $100.
Oh,
but this one I like
so
too.
cute.
This one is Dumbo.
Oh my god.
He's so cute. And he comes with a cloud. There's a little cloud in there.
Oh, I
Now,
didn't
one
even
on eBay, the cloud itself is worth $20 just
Oh
for
my
the cloud.
goodness.
Yeah.
Why did I not? Oh, there's the
a little
cloud.
cloud, yes.
Wow.
So that is what I got. And that's my souvenirs. Now, I bought some like shelving and some other things that we
Right.
can use.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I have no money left since that auction. But I'm planning on going other auctions too. There's some
Exactly.
nice crystal glasses and they're called Colleen.
Yes,
And
they
it's
are.
Waterford crystal, and it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to bid on that.
Aw.
I don't know how much I'm gonna my
Yeah.
limit is, but I've got a new strategy that I don't stay online and when they're bidding, because I tend to just click. I'm
Yes.
going to
That was really smart, actually.
bid my top bid, come off the computer, and not go back on there until the bidding's over.
I think that's a
My new
smart way of
strategy,
doing
yeah.
it. I mean, people, even when the auctions were in person,
You get carried
you
away.
get carried away, and you know, you kind of think, oh yeah, just yep.
Right.
But I missed those auctions in person because they were lots of fun.
Right, they were, yeah.
Exactly.
So that's what I've been up to, and also those are our souvenirs, and that's great.
There we go. Now, just a reminder about the giveaway. So it is a pattern giveaway. There'll be patterns from Ravelry. We're going to take 3. There'll be a random number generator. So what you have to do to enter is by midnight on February 2nd of 2023, you need to comment below this video and just say a pattern you were thinking of trying. You could just say, I like Ravelry. You can say something you like about our video, anything that you just comment, and make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to look subscribe, comment, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 patterns, random number generate, so there'll be 3 different winners. We figured beginning of February, great time to have a giveaway.
Perfect. Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe. That's how we're going to be able to keep doing this for you. And until next time,
You take